Afternoon, sports fans from all around the globe. I am your host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and this is your closing bell for Thursday, May 26, 2022. One day away from the official Memorial Day weekend. Hope everyone's had a great week. A great final week of May, as on Wednesday, June 1st, we'll be knocking on your door. Great, nice hot run for the ECSI VIPs. Last night, we beat in Mother Nature. I kept saying I wanted to stay away from COVID. I wanted to stay away from Mother Nature. And I thought we could sneak in 5 or 6 games in Cincinnati. And we did that. They actually completed the game. And thank God for us, we went first 5 minus the hook. Gave up 2 in the first, but Castillo settles down. And we cashed that at 4-2. And they ended up winning 4-3. So a full game minus 1.5 would have been an L. Shorter slate today, a lot of Mother Nature again. And there's one game that's really hitting our system. And I can't get in there. It looks like 60% chance of rain to start, 55% chance halfway through. And I'm not investing my money or your money in a start and stop game, especially with some of these teams' back ends are bad enough. Now you get them in there in the 3rd or 4th inning instead of the 6th, 7th, or 8th inning. So great start for the week here. We've been mixing and matching some half unit first fives, full game 1 units, back and forth, a full unit last night. So our eyes are pretty good right now. This morning, or late this morning, I should say, 1 hour with Dave Sharapan, the real Vegas Dave, on the Breakfast Bankroll. And always great to chat with him. We were talking some NBA playoffs, some NHL playoffs, and we closed out with a few minutes of MLB. And then they returned the favor. Matt and Dave had me on to close their show on the Bostonian versus the Book. Now the closing bell was Scott, and tonight at 9:25, I will be on for with Anthony Pepe and the Diehards, our weekly 15-minute chat, going over the whatever comes to his mind. We're always bouncing around, so it's a good time to hang out with the locals and some of the guys on the national scene. So without further ado, let's bring in my co-host. It seems like forever since I talked to him again. The one and only Mr. Scott E. Webb. Afternoon, Scotty.
Hey, Jeff. Sounds like a little bit of stuff going on there.
Yeah, I guess this is what we signed up for, and this is what we want. And when someone comes knocking, you always answer the door, listen, and you take the opportunity because, when we're on the other side knocking on doors, we want the same kind of respect coming back. So always fun to have Dave on, of course, but fun to be on other shows as well.
Yeah, I got something for you for Major League Baseball, by the way.
Which is?
Something interesting, maybe.
Uh-oh.
So what if I told you Toronto, Minnesota, LA Dodgers, Houston Astros, Milwaukee Brewers, Boston Red Sox, New York Yankees, Pittsburgh Pirates, San Francisco Giants, and Kansas City Royals are the top 10 in this category? That'd be pretty good, wouldn't it? Those are pretty good teams right now over the last 7 days.
Okay.
So you're talking Toronto, Minnesota, the Dodgers, Astros, Milwaukee, Boston, the Yankees, Pittsburgh. They've been winning. San Francisco Giants, the Royals, they've been scoring some runs. I don't know how many games they won. San Francisco, and I think that what this is going to show is teams that value getting on base in any way they can, even via the walk, makes things significantly important. So, and they put balls in play so they don't strike out. So this is the statistic of walks rate basically divided by the strikeout rate. So the variance being the highest variance is where you have Toronto has a 10.5% walk rate and only a 16% strikeout rate. So they're getting on base and they're making contact with the ball. Teams like Texas, they have a walk rate of 4.2% and a strikeout rate of 28%. That ain't very good. So I think you can utilize this number and put yourself in a favorable position with some of these games. And especially if you then tier them towards the pitchers in the pitching matchups. So it's kind of interesting, or at least I thought it was kind of interesting, because you can certainly see the teams that they have to work real hard to score runs via, like Texas. They don't get on base via the walk, and they strike out all the time. So that means all they can do is make base hits and drive them in through base hits. That's it. And then you got teams like Toronto who get on base, 10.5% of the time via the walk, and they don't strike out. So they are moving the ball around. So runners move around, and it shows up. I mean, their weighted runs created place is 102, so they're 2% better than average. I mean, obviously they could do more because their ISO rate's pretty small. That means they're not hitting for power, so they're hitting a lot of ground balls, and that's at first baseman. So there's a lot that goes into it more, but just in general terms, I thought it was a pretty neat little thing.
Absolutely. And we've been waiting for weeks about offenses, and obviously my locals have really, really picked it up. I think the last show you and I did, you talked about they were number one the last 7 days in offense. Yesterday they get shut down by Giolito, and those numbers were deceiving. Two things were real deceiving. Rich Hill had one bad pitch, and I was talking to Dave about this. Anyone that had the Sox first five up 1-0 going into the bottom of the fifth, Hill had only allowed one hit, and of course, two guys get on, and then 3-run homer, and that was the final score there. But the Sox at one point, I think it was through 5, Scott, or maybe 6, they left 10 guys on base, and that's exactly what you're talking about. If you can get the guys on base, if your team is long, or you're getting those clutch hits. I always talk about it. I said, one of the keys to success in first 5 play is flipping that 3 times, meaning get to the top of the order the 3rd time. That means you're getting guys on base. You might not have scored in the first 4 runs, but it'll be the 3rd time that top of the order gets to see that pitcher for the most part. They sometimes only go 2-3 innings, and we know with the bullpen games and stuff. But if you're starting to pull up numbers like that and teams like that, hey, walk, error, however the hell they're getting on. But if you're getting guys on base, that means you're getting to see the pitcher 2 and 3 times early, which usually you know numbers better than anyone else. Take a look at a pitcher the first time they see a batter, take a look at him the second time, and then take a look at him if they get to see him the 3rd time.
Well, there's no question. I mean, it's pretty simple. I mean, you can let me just see for a second. I can pull up, for example, a game that's getting ready to go, the Yankees and the Rays. And if you want to go look at like Nestor Cortez, for example, you can see
who has been lights out.
So if you want to see something that's kind of interesting, where is the numbers? Okay, so for him, it's a little bit interesting, and you can do this for any pitcher you want. For the first time through the batting order, they bat 189 against him. The second time through, they bat 128, and the third time through, it is 240. So the more they see the guy, the more that they're going to hit him, and that's the way it is in any of these things. So that theory that I utilize, where one team has just seen a starting pitcher and has done that pitcher did X, you can expect that pitcher to do not X, he's going to do Y, and that's because they've just seen the guy. So that's the way it kind of works with baseball, is the more you see the pitch, the more you see where the ball comes out of the guy's hand and understand what kind of movement it has and the spin relation and all that stuff, the better the hitters have. It's not better that the pitchers have them. It's better that the hitters have. Now, I will say this. If the pitcher didn't do very good the first time, there's a good likelihood he's going to make some adjustments and do pretty good the second time. So you run into that a little bit, but a lot of times it's the other way around. It's the pitcher did a great job the first time out. The second time out, you can expect him to get shelled a bit.
One game today, and again, it was a rain delay in Cincinnati. Cubs at Cincinnati, Steel versus Green. Currently in the bottom of the seventh, 13-5. Here comes the big red machine again, offensively. A rain delay, I think, of over an hour, around an hour. So who the hell knows who's in there at this point. Tonight we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games on the slate. We have Dallas and Golden State in the NBA. Opened it. It says 7.5. It opened at 7. It's now 6.5 at Circa. Flat sevens across the Vegas Strip. And over that opened at 216.5. Now 215. Golden State wins. They got about 10 days off, and most likely will face the Celtics there. And in hockey, game 5 of the Rangers Carolina. Carolina opened at 145, now 150 at Circa, 160 at Westgate, 155 at South Point. Over 5.5 juiced under minus 140. And Edmonton, Calgary. Edmonton surprisingly up 3-1 at Calgary. Calgary opened at 140, now 147 there. I'll talk about that at length today. Scotty, I'm going to bring the board up and just flip it to you. And this is from our friends at Wager Talk. You can go to wagertalk.com/free odds. And look at this. My button is here, Scott. Look at that.
Nothing wrong with that.
Holy moly. There it is.
Well, I guess I just go down the time order on these games and then kind of go from there and then let you know what I played. I'm not going to talk about the Cubs and the Reds. That game's obviously going on 13-7 right now, and the Reds got the bases loaded, so it might be more than that here in a minute. But 13-5 went in the seventh. So the first game is an interesting game to me. This is the Yankees going down here and playing in Tampa. Strange situation with my wife being there and I'm not. Isn't that weird? So whatever, it is what it is. Cortez against Yarborough, and what interesting to this game to me is Cortez has all the good numbers and he's off a bad start. So that puts Cortez right on the spotlight for me. Yarborough has not been great and his numbers aren't great. His last outing was in relief. He didn't even start. He's going to probably throw 4 to 5 innings if he can last that long against the Yankees. Now, I will say that the Yankees without Giancarlo Stanton are a little bit less of a threat because he's a right-handed batter and he obviously a power bat. But I do like the idea that the Yankees should be more of a favorite than what they are tonight. They're minus 114. My number is way bigger than that because Yarborough is not that good, and obviously the Yankees have been winning. Now, the Yankees are a team that I've been trying to tell people you can't get crazy with this team because they don't hit. And I know that sounds silly, but they're not going to throw up 11, 12, 13, 14 hits and score 7 runs. They're going to score 7 runs on 5 hits, and all 5 of them could be home runs, or they're going to have a walk and a dinger. And where we run into this in this particular game is that Yarborough is a 6.16 xFIP and a 5.70. That's not very good. His strikeout rate is only 6.55. That's not very good. And his walk rate is 5.7. So just what we were talking about at the beginning of the show, here you have a team or a pitcher that matches up to an offense that'll take the walks and then they'll hit the home runs. And Cortez, walk rate 2.45. Strikeout rate 9.51, and he's got a 3.35 xFIP number. So all that stuff just means that the reality of who's going to score, who has more opportunities, is going to be the Yankees. They're going to have more guys on base, and they're going to be able to put balls in play, and Tampa Bay will not. So when you look at it from that perspective, this line of, okay, the Yankees are minus 116 or whatever it is, I think that the value is on the Yankee side. I think that line opened near like 130, something like that. My number is pushing more like 150. Cortez has been really, really good. And of course, the Rays have traditionally had the Yankees number here the last couple of seasons. So maybe that's going to be a factor in what they're doing with the line. But when it just comes down to player pitcher performance, what's supposed to happen, that's how I bet the games. And I think Cortez is going to pitch pretty well tonight. He's off a game score of 48. His season numbers is 62. So I look forward to him to do well. Plus, the Yankees are top 7 in offense against left-handed pitchers, and that's obviously what Yarbrough is. So I like the idea here that you're going to get some favorable advantage with the Yankees. So I took the Yankees minus 116. So that's a play. Marquez and Corbin, Colorado and Washington here. I'm very conflicted in this game. Both pitchers have pitched poorly. Marquez off a game score 37. Corbin's off a game score 27. Both of them year to date have a 40 and 41 game score. So that's way below average. It's not very good. It's just poor. And where I run into trouble is the walk rate for Marquez, and he's had a batting average against of 325. Okay, that's not good. The major league batting average now is 237. It went up a point yesterday. So we went from 236 to 237, and we started at 231. So it's coming. And I don't like the idea that either one of these pitchers are going to last forever in the game. They're not going to go, 8, 9 innings, I don't think. Both teams are struggling on offense to hit the ball. So what I did do in this game is this is a strikeout prop. Corbin, he's not a big strikeout guy, but he'll strike some guys out. And Washington doesn't strike out that often, but the number is only 4.5. And my number shows that Corbin should have almost 6 strikeouts in this game. So it's like 5.7, something like that. And you can get plus money on that. So it's plus 104. So I took Corbin over 4.5 strikeouts at plus 104 in this game. And then when I looked at some of the matchups, they do strike out against him a lot. And then the next game, I don't have a side. I don't like the game. The next game was Pilkington against Skubal. Now Pilkington, he's a relief pitcher, and he's probably going to go 3 innings max. The most he's pitched all season is 3 2/3 innings. The trouble that I have in this game is I really like Skubal. I really do. I think he's one of the best pitchers in baseball right now. Anyway, he's off a game score 65, and it's not so much that he's off a game score 65. That was his last start, and his last start was against Cleveland. So that just automatically says, hey, I don't want to go there. Plus the number I think is pretty high for him. It's like 130, 140 for Detroit, who hasn't won a game in days. So I'm just going to stay off of that game, even though I think it's going to be a bullpen game for Cleveland. And I do think that Skubal, even if he pitches well, he might not pitch well enough in this one. So I'm going to stay off of that one. The next game is Nola and Wright. And I did have a play on this. I had a strikeout prop for this, but I don't like the strikeout prop because I'm not sure how this game's going to go, start and stop and that kind of stuff. There's weather there. And if there's start and stop and you got a starting pitcher that has to get a certain number of strikeouts and he gets taken out after 4 innings, he might not make it. So I'm not playing the game. The strikeout prop that I had on this, I like Nola to get more than 7.5 strikeouts today. I think he should get 9. That's a lot, but Atlanta's striking out more than any team in baseball right now. And Nolan's off of a poor start, a game score 44. He's pitched pretty well against Atlanta in the past, and he's got great numbers coming into this game. And Wright's off of a great start, so I expect him to do a little bit poor. So that means I think that my side is looking at him. I like Philadelphia in the game, but I'm not going to go there either, only because Harper's the only guy hitting. So I'm going to stay away 100%, start, stop, rain, whatever. Okay, it's over. I'm not going to play that game. Kansas City, Minnesota. This is Lynch and Smeltzer. Lynch is off of a poor start, and Smeltzer's got two games where he's kind of pitched at a 56, 55 number, which is about normal. And they both faced each other the last time out. Kansas City's actually turned the ball around hitting wise over the last 7 days, and they've got a pretty good offense coming into this game. Minnesota's offense has been a little bit more struggling. So I'm not opposed to just laying off of this one. This looks like an over type situation to me, where both teams might hit the ball a little bit, but both these pitchers that can step up and do well, but they both show up red in metrics, 4.93, 4.70 for Lynch, and Smeltzer's a 5.2 and a 5.7. So those both numbers look like it should go over the number. But with both teams not hitting, it's kind of hard to, well, I shouldn't say both. Kansas City's hitting. But then you sit there and go, okay, can you really rely on Kansas City? And that's that bad news bear story we talked about at the beginning of the week. How do you have faith the team that's the reason they struggle is because they don't do well consistently, and then now you're going to consistently want them to do well based on the numbers, and I can't do it. So staying away from that one. The next game I do like, this is Milwaukee and St. Louis. I got Milwaukee as a much bigger favorite today against St. Louis, and St. Louis is the actual favorite. Here's where my conundrum is. You got Lauer, who's pitched really, really well. He's left-handed. And the last time that St. Louis faced a left-handed pitcher, I think they scored 15 runs or something. They are the number one team. It's not even close. They are 20 points higher, 20% higher than any other team, the second place team, against left-handed pitching. They hit left-handed pitching. There's just no question. So I can't sit here, and Lauer's off a great start. So that says, okay, we should be betting on St. Louis. Well, in the past, Wainwright, over his career, and especially in his last 5 starts, he has done terrible against Milwaukee. He's got a game score 46 in those 5 starts. So he should get hit too. Now, what I did like is that over-under number is 7.5, and everybody's betting that game under. I think this game should go over that number, and I like over 7.5. You can get it at plus 100. You have an offense of St. Louis that should hit, and they've been hitting, and you got Milwaukee, who is good against this pitcher who's middle of the road right now. They're like 15th, 14th, something like that on offense. So, and you're not asking them to score 9, 10 runs. You're only asking them to score 8. The actual league average right now is 8.4 runs per game. I know that doesn't sound right, but that's what it is. It's 8.4 runs per game. So if you think of it in that terms, these two offenses should be able to put that number over the 7.5, and you're going to get basically an even money to get there. So that was my second play. The Yankees minus 116, Milwaukee, St. Louis over 7.5 at plus 100, and I got Corbin at over 4.5 strikeouts. And then the last game that I scratched off my list, Jeff, was Boston tonight. I think there's no reason in the world why you shouldn't go in there and play Boston. I don't like it because I think everybody and their brother's betting on Boston. They're not changing the number. And that's number one. Number two, I think the other part of it is, and I've said this before, a lot of people like to look at home and away splits. I like to look at day and night splits. And when you look at day and night splits, let me flip this over because I want to make sure I say this right. It's interesting because day and night splits, when you look at Keuchel, and he's been terrible, he's been holy shit terrible. But in the nighttime, he has an OPS plus of 86. Now 100 is average. 86 for a pitcher is 14% better than average. So he's been great for him at night. So I like the idea. And he pitched against Boston before, and that was one of his best starts of the season. He went 6 innings, gave up only 2 runs. So, and that was, I don't know, a month ago, so it's been a few starts. And Waka is a guy that can go out there and get bombed, but he's also a guy that can actually throw pretty well too. So it scares me away, no matter how great the offense has been for Boston. And they've been hitting lefties. They hit Keiko, all of that. But the numbers aren't moving the way I thought they should, especially with what I'm showing is like 97% of the money is on. Well, I guess it's moved a little bit now. It was Keiko minus 115, then he was minus 106 or whatever, and now it's Boston's minus 117. So it's flipped. But I'm going to stay away. And then Ryu and Otani is an interesting game. Otani at home. We did that analysis that one time in Discord that showed he wasn't very good at home, and then he's pitched a couple of good home starts. He's off of a bad start. Ryu is now getting healthy from his original time on the disabled list. And the numbers metric-wise, both of them are pretty good. And if you look at some of these numbers, Trout is 0 for 10 against Ryu. So if Trout's 0 for 10 against Ryu, you're going to want all the other guys to step up. Otani is a game score 59 last time out. His average is a 59. I think it's one of these spots where you can almost flip a coin here and see who's going to win this game, and that's a big number to flip a coin over. It's minus 160. So I'm staying away from that one. And then the last couple on the board. So Dodgers starting White tonight. He didn't do very good his first time out. This is that bullpen game. He's a relief pitcher. I think you should probably expect 2 to 3 innings at most from him. Last year, he started 7 games, by the way, and his game score over those 7 games was a 46. So that's not very good. Arizona hits the ball right now, and Castellanos is on the mound, and he's been doing better, but that doesn't mean that the Dodgers won't hit him. So I'm just going to leave that one alone. Again, you're looking at a number where minus 180 to play on a relief pitcher in a bullpen game. I'm just going to stay away. And the last one's also an intriguing matchup where you got Perez against Montas, Texas in Oakland. And you got a favorite now in Oakland at minus, 110, 116 and somewhere in there. And I think that this game is interesting because Perez has been the better pitcher between the two. He's off of a great start. Montas off a bad start. They both have pitched well against the teams that they're facing tonight. But Oakland's been hitting the ball a little better. So, theoretically, I think the line's probably where it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be about minus 110, minus 116, something like that. I think my number was somewhere around minus 110. So I don't think there's value in the play. So I'm just going to stay off of it. Again, thinking more of a coin flip scenario. So my only 2 plays, Yankees Cortez minus 116, Milwaukee St. Louis over 7.5 plus 100. And I did do a Corbin over 4.5 strikeouts at plus 104. Those were my picks today.
Great breakdown as always. I'll get to baseball in 1 second. I'm going to use a conspiracy theory here. Currently, the Golden State, who's up 3-1, is 7-point favorites to win, and they wait a week, 10 days. I swear I saw June 5th was the first day of the NBA championship last night. I thought I saw the commercial. If that's the case, that's next Sunday. So if they win, they'll have about 10 days off. The Celtics are 8.5-point favorites tomorrow. So there's a possibility on a long weekend, a Memorial Day weekend, the NBA could be dark. And this is just straight conspiracy theory. That doesn't happen very often. So if somehow Luka and company could manage a way to get a steal this game and bring it back to Dallas, at least the NBA would have a game on Saturday. Now, the Celtics are also going to be hosting tomorrow night, and they are opened overnight at 9-point favorites. The NBA is like, come on down, guys. We're looking for heat money. They've gotten some heat money. It's down to 8.5. So my point here is this is Golden State and the Celtics probably going to win? Most likely. If you think they're both going to win and you're looking for some action, Put them together in a money line parlay and sew it up and pray. It's the NBA. Anything could happen. Luka went into Phoenix in the game 7 and won the game. They beat them by 30, or they were up by 30 at one point. I'm just saying, if you want a conspiracy theory, take the Dallas plus the 7, sprinkle some beer and pizza on the money line. You're getting well over plus 200 on that. And again, it's beer and pizza, and it's just a conspiracy theory. That's all. Unless you think that the Heat are going to beat the Celtics, so there'll be a game on Friday and a game on Sunday there. MLB, I despise Corbin, and you've been talking for weeks now. Marquez, something's wrong. There's just something not working there. If I had to lean, I would take a swing with Colorado. Just that's how much I despise Corbin. I'm going to pass on that. The game that hit our system, I mean, we're talking alarm bells. Bets versus money's coming in is the Phillies and Nola. I would play this first 5 without blinking. The problem is there's a 65% chance of rain at first pitch and a 55% chance of rain the second hour. As much as I want to dive into this, I'm not. Pitchers, especially starting pitchers, are creatures of habit. They know when to get to the park. They know when to go to the bullpen. They know when to start stretching, and they know when to start throwing. I am not going to get caught up in my hard-earned money, your hard-earned money, to fight with Mother Nature. She's undefeated. I'm not going there. Milwaukee and St. Louis. Scotty, it's funny you brought that game up, and I don't like to do this. I don't. But it's a big series for both teams. The Cardinals face Woodruff tomorrow. So they lose tonight, they're going to be big dogs tomorrow. I think Woodruff already opened up like 145, 150 tomorrow. I don't like to do it. It's baseball. Each game is different. You've been talking for a long time how dominant St. Louis is versus lefty pitching. I talk about value. I talk about prices. I talk about the fact that they're facing Woodruff tomorrow, maybe a little more sense of urgency. I am strongly leaning St. Louis here, full game tonight. Now, what we have been doing is we've been going a half unit on the first 5, half unit on the full game. I give the edge to Milwaukee in the back end, but maybe you can confirm this. Is Hader still out? He was left for a family emergency, and it's been Williams that's been closing.
Williams has been closing, and Gott has been closing. Kind of taking Williams' place there a little bit. I can tell you real quick if he is available or not. Where's the Brewers? There they are. And you have you have no Josh Hader.
Okay. So if you want to sprinkle a half unit on the first 5, half unit full game, I have no problem with it. It's a short number. You want to go full game St. Louis, I have no problem with that either. I think, again, as Scotty's been pointing out, these, the Arenados of the world, the Goldschmidts of the world, the righties are pounding right now for St. Louis. Knowing Woodruff's going tomorrow, I think it's a good opportunity to pounce with a short favorite at home today with St. Louis. Dodgers, Arizona, I don't have Biff's almanac. I don't have tomorrow's paper. I do know when I look at this, it would be an overplay for me, which means the final score will probably be 3-1. That's all I can tell you. I think it's an overall day. I suck at totals. I don't give out totals. It is what it is. But that looks like an overall day for me. If I told you overnight I saw Tampa minus 130 last night, would you believe me?
Probably not.
I saw it in one spot. And this Cortez kid, I haven't been on the train. Absolutely phenomenal. Now, Yankees a little banged up. You got a couple nagging injuries here and there. You talk about getting on base and hitting that long ball. The success that Tampa Bay has had lately against the Yankees, 61% of the bets, 64% of the money is coming in on the Yankees. They're showing you the Yankees opened up at 130. I am telling you, the Yankees did not open up at 130. Not even at Webby's odds did they open up at 130. Yeah, actually, he's got them higher than that. But fact is, you probably get 115 here or there. I can see the love affair for Cortez. I really can. I'm just not going there. I'm going to stay away. Scooble and Pilkington. I don't know much about Pilkington. Obviously, as you said, it's going to be a bullpen game. And we all know how good Scooble is. Yet Vegas is almost like throwing you the carrot right there, Scotty. They're like enticing you to take the Tigers today, minus 130. I'm staying away. I think it's too good to be true. If you told me you wanted to take Scooble minus a half run first five, I wouldn't have a problem with it. Something smells in that game. I watched Smeltzer his first game 2 Saturdays ago. His delivery, he just awful. I don't like him. I wouldn't. If you Venmoed me 100 to bet on Minnesota, I'd Venmo you 200 back. I just want no part of it.
He looks like a guy that goes out and plays in the in an amateur adult league.
100%. He could be the Friday starting pitcher for a Legion team. It is the most, and I think he's fools batters just because of his delivery. I was not impressed with any of his stuff, yet he opened up at minus 190. Boston and Chicago is real tricky in this regard. Sox winning streak done. They are hitting the crap out of the ball. They only scored one yesterday. It was against Giolito. Giolito didn't have his best stuff. They left the Brazilian runners on base. Walker, like Hill, like Pavetta, have just been absolutely lights out. I talked to Dave Sharapan today. Again, I could see both teams scoring today. I could see this a 6-5 game. If you wanted to get cute, I would okay a Sox first 5 here. I don't know what the back end looks like. Hulk looked great yesterday, by the way. I have no faith in Keuchel, and I think the Sox bats are where it's at. And I know the White Sox can score. And we talk about the regression word, Scotty. If anyone's overdue for regression, it's got to be Michael Walker. I mean, the kid's, I don't know how he's been doing it. He's been doing it, though. What was his last game score?
43.
Well, that was coming off the IL, though, correct?
Yeah, his last game score was 43. He's 56 on the season. His xFIP number is 4.72. His Sierra number is 508. He's only got 5.51 strikeouts and a 3.86 walk rate, so it's all high. But Keuchel is 5.78, 6.26, and that's, again, a 4.13 strike. He don't strike nobody out either, and he's got a walk rate of 6. So there's going to be guys on base in this game. There's going to be offense in this game, and as soon as you say that, all of a sudden everybody wakes up and they get 5 runs total.
When I try to get cute in baseball, it doesn't work. I'm going to hit this button right here. I'm going to go and say, without looking, 4 minus 135. That's the Red Sox team total. That's my guess here. Let's see what it is. 4.5 juiced under. They're both 4.5. I was figuring if any of you guys have on your sites a 4, I think, they can get to 5 today. I mean, the total opened at 9. It is now 9.5. So someone's going to get to 5. That's what they're saying. It could end up being a 6-3 game there. So I was just curious on that. Give me a second here, guys. Toronto, LA, Scott touched upon it. How long are these Toronto bats going to be down? Ryu has not been good. Ohtani has just been lights out. He did throw a clunker in there in, one of those starts. I don't think you can play it. I mean, the values with Toronto, I'm not a Rue backer. I mean, the lefties, a lefty pitcher against Trout and Rendon and some of the other righties. What was it, Walsh and Marsh? One of those is lefty, though, right, Scott?
Yeah. So Ryu is now making his third start off of the IL. In his last start, he went 6 innings. So you don't got to worry about him only going, 2-3 innings back in this game. He'll go as long as he can go. And he, how Ryu is. Now, the one thing I will tell you that people forget, and maybe they forget because, it's been a while since he was a Dodger, but, he's faced the Angels because that was that rivalry in state, and they've faced each other a lot of times. So the guys that have been around on the Angels, your Trouts and those guys, they've seen Ryu a lot. But I was really surprised to see that Mike Trout was 0 for 10 against Ryu.
The last game, Texas Oakland, is very intriguing. Scott had talked about it. I will add to it. When you go against Martin Perez, he looks like Cy Perez. I'm telling you for facts. The guy is sneaky. When he's pitching well, he is sneaky. I think the brain will tell you how the hell is Oakland at home with Montas basically at a pick of maybe minus 115. It smells to me there. I actually would slightly lean Texas here today, just slightly. They're both 19 wins, 19 and 23 for the Rangers, 19 and 27 for Oakland there. I mean, if you told me, hey, I think there's extreme value with Montas and Oakland being home today, you're right. 100% right. But I would ask you, why isn't it minus 125 or 130? That's what I would ask you.
So Montas has pitched 9 games, and in those games, the Oakland A's are 2-7.
See, I told you my mind was right the first time. Texas is the play there. Rangers, Carolina. Carolina 6-0 at home. 0-6 on the road. They're just a different team. If you're looking to get into this game, I talked about it earlier today. I'll just talk it one more time. Regulation, you can get Carolina plus 110 earlier this morning. Puck line, empty net goals. They're telling you it's going to be 5 goals scored. Is it going to be 3-2? Is it going to be 4-1? They're begging you to take the over. They can't get any over money there. Edmonton, Calgary. I talked about this in game 4. If you liked Calgary minus the 105, why don't you take them plus the 165 in the series? Well, I'm going to piggyback on this. Get your notepads, gentlemen and ladies. You can now get Calgary plus 420 in the series. Now they're down 3-1. They are hosting tonight. They're currently minus 155, 160 in some shops. They'll be minus 105, plus 105 in game 6. So if you took Calgary for a half unit, even plus the 420 to win this series, and they win this game, you can go back and take Edmonton for that half unit in game 6. And guess what? If Edmonton loses, you got free money for game 7. So if you like Calgary to win tonight, I'm just telling you, throw some beer and pizza money on the plus 420. You got an out in game 6. If they steal game 6, you got free money in game 7. Closing thoughts, Scott.
Baseball's getting to be almost 1/3 of the way there. So this is the time where you want to look at some of the things, and I was looking at earlier today, players like Paul Goldschmidt. Paul Goldschmidt's numbers are great, but that means that he's due for a recession, right? A regression. So some of these guys that are off to these great big starts, which it's there's no problem with them doing well. But it does mean that they're going to go the other way, and sort of the same thing is going to apply to those that are in the bottom side. So I think you want to watch a little bit of that and don't get caught up in certain things. You just got to be careful where you go. It's like Keuchel today. What do you do with Keuchel today? He's a guy that's been bombed. Every time he goes out, he gives up, 17 runs. So why can't you bet against him? Well, because he was listed as the favorite to start. There's a reason he was listed as the favorite. So you got to try to figure these things out. Baseball's not easy. And as we keep going through this, the struggles of the summer will show that there's a lot of these things that, people are going to go, well, why don't you just do this? Why don't you? Because you can't. That's the way it works. There's once you're in this and you've done this a long time, a lot of things come to light that sit there and go, oh my God, there's a safeguard against that. Oh, I got a safeguard against this, and I got a safeguard against that. So then there's only a couple of plays that end up coming out every day. And then when you have those couple of plays, be convicted, go to the window with confidence, and put some damn money on there, because that's how you win. You can't win any money unless you put it out there. This is not one of those scenarios where you go invest $5 and win 30,000. So if you're going to win 30,000, you need to bet 30,000 to win that 30,000 and be convicted that you're going to win it.
I think it's an intriguing board. Unfortunately, like I said, I can't get into the Phillies' first five today because of Mother Nature. The Keuchel game just intrigues the crap out of me.
Mm-hmm.
And this is like, I bet you we're talking tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon, the final score 3-1 or 3-2, something stupid like that. It looks like both offenses should have some fun today. I think you kind of confirmed my thought process and doing a little more due diligence. I do lean Cardinals today, whether it's first five, whether it's full game, hoping two things. You get a good performance from Wainwright, number one, but number two, that those bats continue to mash the lefties. Lastly, knowing that they got Woodruff tomorrow. Not that they can't beat Woodruff if they've not seen Woodruff. I'm just saying.
Well, I looked at that, and Woodruff is listed as the starter, and St. Louis does not have a listed starter yet, so there's no line yet.
Okay. On that game, in the baskets, like I said, I use the conspiracy theory. Listen, Golden State, there has been no close games, guys. You want to take a shot with Dallas first half and just say Golden State runs away with it, fine. But I just want to tell you, Dallas went into Phoenix and won a game 7. They went into Utah and won a game 6, I think it was. They can do it. Will they do it? I don't know. But the line's only 7. And then tomorrow, obviously, the Celtics are 9-point favorites, which, again, Vegas is telling you the series is over. And you don't have to worry, guys. I'm 0-2 at live games at the Garden. The Celtics very nicely have sent me a $100 gift certificate of my choice to go out to dinner tomorrow, just so I'd stay out of the Garden. So I will not be at the Garden, so you don't have to worry about the mush factor as well. So,
hey, the Reds ended up with 20 runs, by the way.
Yeah, the big red machine. And you know something? Green's been okay his last few starts.
Last 3 of them.
Yeah, he's found something. So good for him. I'm glad. I just hope they don't burn him out. So another win for our Reds. So keep on winning, Reds. Keep on winning. So with that, if you are wagering tonight or tomorrow morning, please do it responsibly. If you do have a problem, please pick up that phone. There's an 800 number. Ask for help. Myself and Scotty care. We want to see you here today, tomorrow, next week, next month, through 2022 and beyond. From myself, Jeff Dawson at EC Sports Invest, from the one and only Scott E. Webb at Webby20MLB, we wish everyone a blessed day. Memorial Day is almost here. Get those grills, beaches, and all that good stuff ready, and we will see you soon.